Welcome to TradeTheNBI.com. This is John. This report is for the 8th of February. Well, and the onslaught continues. So we talked about when we had that dip, the push would be to come back to the highs and then break out. So that's been accomplished, and oftentimes what we look for at that particular point, if the breakout is under a positive extreme or near positive extreme on our extreme histogram down here, and it's not. So that means it's probably got more leg to it. Slight rejection off of the cyan instead of dipping below red, but that's also a pretty extreme level of reduced shorts. So this is more about the new fund money that we talked about coming in right about the beginning of the week. It was sort of a pre-lead up to it, and then once it gets there, we're going to pay a little bit higher price just to get into things. Moving to the NASDAQ, it looks very similar, only we already had the cyan below red, and now a little bit of an increase in it right there. But as you can see, Power Mode 2, Shakeout Rising, things are congruent with the continuation move, so no real shocks there. Euro bounced back after Congress and the new administration decided that, in fact, they are going to get more stimulus out there. Any talk like that mentions the idea of added stimulus is going to bolster the euro, which is exactly what the U.S. wants to do. So even if it's just talk that has an impact, that's good enough. Because sometimes just saying something is enough to move things. Gold's not buying it at this particular point, and the readings pretty much indicate that. That was pretty clear. From an intraday standpoint, we started off was for continuation from the previous day and then into Friday. Early part of the peak was a few positive extremes all the way through, so good likelihood that those were going to fill back in. It marked them, and the first DOC spread that came in flattened gold, but it was just after that first gold, so it wasn't too shocking that we ended up with a little bit of pop, especially with the steel reset. It was the second one where we were below zero that when that starts to roll over and you get a DOC spread. And what was nice about this one is you already had the red under the white here, and as well as the cyan. Even if you don't have the white line showing, it's not a big deal, but you would have had the green crossing, same time cyan. That was a much cleaner one. It still took a little while. It fought its way back, but ultimately filled the early set of positive extremes right there. And then the usual caught a bid, coming back up. Power Mode moved right back up. Shakeout went positive, and so we ended up with that little bit of a dance back and forth where you had a couple of spiders, but overall, DOC red kept making increased pivots, so P2s, P3s, and the typical crossovers. So again, this one was you had the dip, and then boom, you get the gold rising just as you're getting the dip, and that was enough to push it forward. Then we ended up, again, more DOC spread. Was pretty clean this time. You can see the histogram's making lower, not getting above the plus 15. Still helpful in that case, and DOC red right around 0. And once it breaks down below there, you can expect a little bit more. In this case, it's a bit choppy. There's just still more upside bias given this time of the month. So you just recognize that you take what you get, and when it's ready to flip, be set for it. So in this case, day starts off with positive extremes around 38.85. We've already filled a bunch of those all the way back. In fact, the low right here was right at the 85. So filled those back in nicely. Not a shock there, and making its attempt before the market opens to get back up into the 100% mark, and from that point we'll get a pretty clear idea where things are going to start to go. We're already going to have matching highs, and if the shakeout starts to fade a little bit, you're going to have lower shakeouts on higher highs. But we're getting very close to that 4K on the ES projection from a while back, and no shock with that, despite the fact that there are plenty of what you might refer to as trouble signs from economic situations, stuff like that, and the ongoing COVID situation. But again, other factors are driving this, so that's just something to bear in mind and be okay with it. As always, though, trade well. I'll talk to you later.